Airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
Oregon is going to the Final Four.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
This is Duck Insider.
We need to get community. We need this thing to be bigger than just our little circle of players and coaches.
Are you kidding me? Touchdown, Oregon.
With 2 seconds on the clock. He hits it!
That's the bigger picture in this thing, allowing the community to celebrate the hard work, blue-collar mentality this group brings to the table.
And the Ducks have won it. The Ducks have won.
We get to struggle together, and we get to have joy together.
The Ducks are Pac-12 champions.
I am so proud right now to be the head coach at Oregon.
Catch made. Touchdown, Oregon.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck Athletics.
We've got a 4 o'clock kickoff on Saturday coming up in Lubbock. 2 o'clock pregame show for us across the Oregon Sports Network. I actually just talked to Jordan James, Duck running back, for that pregame show coming up, and we're going to hear from the running backs on interviews on the Go Ducks YouTube today. The guys are exporting as we speak here in the Country Financial Studio. We also will have it for you in the Quack Minute coming up a little bit later today for those of you tuning in across social media. Good news! Just been announced. Single game tickets for the Colorado game are sold out. Thank you, fans. Well done. Colorado coming to Autzen Stadium. Looks like it figures to be a pretty good game. Single game tickets are sold out. Still some mini plan tickets out there, though. Might be able to get 2 for the price of 1, as they say. Yeah, we'll see. GoDucks.com, more information. Head coach Dan Lanning breaking things down last night. He talked with the media, as he will every Monday during a game week, every Monday evening. We have that for you to lead off today's show. Also, Val Johnson, Deputy Athletic Director, Senior Woman Administrator, will join us here in the Country Financial Studio. She traveled abroad with the Oregon women's basketball team. We're going to get the full trip review from her on today's program. Also, Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach. Somehow still one away. One season ticket from Matt Ulmer singing the national anthem on senior night. Somehow we're still, I don't understand. I know people have purchased tickets in the last couple weeks, and yet somehow I don't know. We'll get the update from Coach Ulmer. In all seriousness, he's actually a heck of a singer. He's probably going to do really well. And he may have just auditioned his way into singing the national anthem at, like, PK Park. Maybe he'll end up doing it at Jane Center Stadium. I could see him doing it at a basketball game, honestly. Like, he may end up being in the marketing team's regular rotation of folks that sing the anthem. We'll see. Matt Ulmer, Oregon Volleyball head coach, will join us here coming up today as well. All right, Dan Lanning, talking Texas Tech, reviewing a program record 81 points on Saturday. Things were good at Autzen Stadium. Head coach Dan Lanning's weekly press conference leads us off tonight.
We are back. Really excited about this week's opponent. They've proven to be one of the best teams at home. Obviously going to be a really unique environment. Really talented on offense and really on both sides of the ball. Got a really good front, interior, that can create some issues, wide receivers on the edge that can create some issues, and a quarterback that operates really well in their system. So, and they play well at home. So it's going to be a fun environment for our guys. I think they're amped up to travel and go play a good team.
Dan, could you just give your thoughts on the running game and what it was able to do on Saturday, and what you thought of the performance after watching some film, and then also what you think they can accomplish against that Texas Tech defense?
Yeah, I think we have really talented running back room, and I think our O-line did a good job of moving bodies up front. But I think we saw a lot of things that we can do, even better. And I know that people might not see that from outside looking in, but we're about to play a real opponent, and the team that we played is going to be a good team in their league, but they're not going to be the level of team that we're going to play in the future. And right now, with, again, like I just mentioned, Texas Tech has a really good interior. On their defensive line, they have good edges, so that's going to be a good challenge for us, moving bodies up front. Our backs are certainly talented enough to do it, but we have to go in there with the right approach.
You mentioned tough environment, also the temperature down there. I'm wondering if there are any things you're going to do to kind of try to simulate the sound and also the heat.
Yeah, there's not a lot I can do for the heat. We're not going to make the guys wear parkas out to practice or anything like that. At the end of the day, good, right? Good. We want a tough environment. We want to go to a place that's going to be challenging. Like that's what's exciting about college football. When you get to go to a place where you know the fans are going to care. 6 p.m. I think they're going to be pretty amped up. That's exciting for us. That's the kind of environments we want to play in. Beyond us preparing, that's all we got to do.
You guys had 74 offensive snaps on Saturday. That's pretty on par with what you guys had on average last year. Elsewhere in college football, there was some teams that had, in the 50s. Some coaches were bigger outspoken about the new clock rules that caused that. Did you see anything in the game that kind of, because of the new clock rules, that kind of impacted your coaching style or how you went about things?
Yeah, I just think us as a staff, we have a really, awareness about when the clock rules change. We're really all dialed in on that. Our approach, again, we were a really good team in the middle eight last year. That's somewhere we want to be good again. I think that's all about how you manage 2-minute situations at the end of halves and the beginning of the second half. So certainly we know that every possession matters, right? That's where it's really changed. And not that every possession didn't matter before, but it means more, right? You're going to get less possessions in offensive football right now in college. So you have to do more when you get those possessions. There's no waste plays.
Dan, now that you had a chance to watch the film, I'm wondering what stood out to you about Mateo and kind of just his college debut.
Yeah, just that he can play at this level. He's, he's a talented player. He wants to be good, right? He has a skill set. He's been well coached. In high school, that's carried over for him now. He has the body and the frame to become a really good player at this level, but he also has a lot of room for growth. He'll be the first one to tell you that. There were some plays that he wishes he had back from Saturday, and I'm excited to see him continue to grow.
And you guys have made Texas a lot bigger priority in recruiting. This is the start of 6 straight years of playing games against Big 12 opponents, a couple in Texas, one in Oklahoma. How much has this run of games played a factor in some of that strategy, if at all? And regardless, just the thoughts on your strategy in Texas and recruiting, in that part of the country in recruiting.
Yeah, we recruit Texas because Texas has some of the best players in the nation, right? And wherever the best players are, that's where we're going to recruit. Really doesn't have anything to do with what games that we're going to play and who we're going to be playing. But the fact that there's direct flights from Texas, here to Eugene, the fact that there's great players in the state of Texas, we're always going to recruit where there's great players. So that's been the biggest piece there.
You often say you have to review the film before you can talk about performances. And just, what'd you like, what you see about your team on Saturday, and what do you hope carries over to this Saturday, and what do you hope to see improvement in, from week 1 to week 2?
Yeah, I love the competitiveness, the focus of our guys. We talked about what's a successful game look like. Not a lot of pre-snap, post-snap penalties. We did that. We didn't have penalties. We had a careless penalty on a hold, and we had a careless penalty on PBR. Those are 2 things that we got to fix. But walking out of the game clean from that standpoint, you love. I love the energy from our players on the sideline. A lot of things that we can fix, being better on movements. From a defensive standpoint, I thought we tackled well in this game, but there were some missed tackles as well that we can do a better job of wrapping up. I think getting the ball to our outside arm on offense so we can work stiff arm opportunities to break the ball, to move the ball down the field, something we want to focus on, chasing the ball, better with our offensive line and our skill players when they don't have the ball in their hands, something we want to look to improve. We want to be able to connect on some of those shots that, we missed. We still move the ball well, but you avoid some of those 3rd and longs that we hit and had success on when you're able to move the ball on those shots earlier in the series.
Just curious on what challenges you see on film that Tech provides both on offense and on defense.
Yeah, their tempo. I mean, on offense, they're a team that snaps as many snaps as anybody in college football. You're going to see they're going to be able to go really fast, really quick. They line up in a lot more stacks and bunches than any other team in college football, so you have to be sound in how you handle those rules. I think they had the most snaps and bunch alignments this past week of any other team in college football. Offensively, that's a big piece of it. They really have the ability to kind of do 2 different offenses where they are wide open and then they get a tight end in the core and, can create some run game issues and some pass game issues. They do a great job of, attacking down the field vertically, but they set that up with the way that they, do screens and like quick passes, some quick games. So I think that's, a piece that shows up. Defensively, they're a pressure team. You're going to see a lot of pressures from them. They find ways to pressure in unique ways, and they do a good job of running to the ball. They play with great effort. Effort shows up all over the film on special teams. I think that's somewhere that they've been really good. They're aggressive in the return game. They're going to try to bring the ball out, right? And they've been able to create some explosive returns doing that.
Will Stein's first real game calling the offense here, he it looked like he called it from the field the whole time. But operationally, how do you think that went with him down on the sideline rather than up in the booth?
Yeah, Will's a pro. I thought the whole offensive staff did a good job of handling and managing, moments within the game, how they called it. It really mimics what we already do in practice, but I thought he did a really good job. I thought our whole offensive staff did a good job of the communication, and really the same thing, from a defensive standpoint. Communication was good on Saturday.
How much of it all do the various connections that you guys have with members of their staff help in the preparation stages in terms of Carlos having worked with their OC and their O-line coach and 12 defensive players having played for DeRuyter and Yates and knowing their system? Just how much of it all does that help in preparation?
Yeah, I think there's a comfortability basically with both schemes, them doing what they do and, understanding what they do. I don't think there's a lot of secrets in college football. I mean, the film is the resume, and that's what you really have to build off of. Every team changes, and even though, like Coach DeRuyter, for example, was here before, there's things that he's doing differently now than what he did when he was here. So I expect to see something different. I think they kept a lot of their cards up their sleeve, in game one. And I think we'll see some unique pieces. They are really challenging from all the different sets they can present on offense. We have to be able to adjust really well on that. And then defensively, like I said, they can bring pressure really from anywhere. So we have to be prepared for that.
You have some teammates that play with Tyler Shuck. I'm just curious, there's some familiarity there, but just from your perspective of watching him, preparing for him, what stands out about him as a senior? I think he's like a fifth-year senior now.
Well, I mean, first thing, he's a winner, right? The games he started last year, they won. I think that he's had a lot of success in that system. They've learned how to use his talents well. Probably doesn't get enough credit as a runner. He can actually take off and, make some plays with his feet. He did that some this past game. For them, he, really distributes the ball well and understands their system. This system requires the quarterback to be able to get him into the right checks, make the adjustments, communicate with the wideouts and the backs of what's actually going on. He does a good job of that.
They have a lot of size on the outside at wide receiver, and I think some fast guys in the slot too. Just their receiving core, the challenges they present.
Yeah, they're certainly a bigger unit. They're some of the best when it comes to catching the ball with a guy near or on you. They do a good job of attacking the ball. You see that a lot on their film. I think that's going to be quite the challenge for us. And the variety of ways they get the ball to their wideouts is unique.
Expanding on that, Dan, specifically for Bradley 9, he was their vertical threat in a big way last year, and it's a big part of their offense, like you talked about. What is it about him specifically that makes him such a threat in that way? And they also have a 6'9" tight end. How do you try to simulate that in practice?
Yeah, it's hard to simulate in practice. We don't have anybody on our roster that's 6'9" right now that can play tight end. But ultimately, what Bradley has a huge catch radius. It catches the ball well in traffic. They do a good job of finding ways to get those guys open where you don't have bodies on a body. We have to go work contested catches right now in practice. We got to go get opportunities to make plays on the ball in practice. So we're certainly going to try to simulate that this week.
Looking at snap counts, there were about 5 offensive linemen that really played together, mostly as you could call them starters. You may not want to call them starters, but how do you feel there was cohesion and continuity with that group up front?
I think it was really good at times. I think there was definitely some moments of improvement too. But overall, I think we got multiple guys that can play, and we're going to continue to find ways as guys grow and become game ready. We're going to find ways to use more guys there.
A lot of your players talked about Poncho's just athleticism during fall camp and how special he was for a freshman. What did you like about him through fall camp? And because I think he was the first lineman to come off the bench into the game. Just what did you like about him during fall camp, and how do you think he performed?
Well, my favorite thing about Poncho is his physicality. He's a physical player. He's got heavy hands. He can move people up front. He's actually a really intelligent, smart player. He's been able to pick up what we do relatively quick. And, I think having his big brother on the team is a guy that's pushing him as well. If a coach can't say it, his brother's going to let him know what it needs to look like. And I love the combination of those two guys on our team.
Want to see if there's an update on Evan, Justin, and Nishad.
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about any injury guys. Whoever we're able to roll in there with at Texas Tech, we'll be able to roll in there with. Feel good about progress with those guys.
Offensively, will Chris Hudson be able to go?
I'm going to talk about anybody that didn't play this past week. If they didn't play this last week, I'm not going to talk about them.
Tyler had 4 passes batted down this past weekend, and Texas Tech's coaching staff was talking about that today, saying that 2 of them were on him, 2 were in looking at that, are there things there that you feel like you guys might be able to take advantage of by way of size on the line of scrimmage, or just a reminder you always want to get hands up from D linemen? I get that, but the quarterback with passes batted down, is it emphasize that much more?
Yeah, I just think in general, when you can impact the quarterback, everybody thinks of sacks immediately, and that's not the only way you can impact in the passing game, right? It's a lot easier to cover when you don't have to because the ball got batted. So as much as we can get our hands up, it certainly matters, especially with a team that gets the ball out quick, which these guys do. So that's something we'll definitely emphasize.
Earlier, you referenced they ran the most bunch sets at receiver in the country last week. Why is that an interesting stat? Like, what's the stresses it puts on you guys defensively or any defense?
Yeah, it just requires communication. You know, you have to figure out how you're going to match patterns as they come out, right? And they don't always come out the same direction, right? So, they do a good job of changing that up. Luckily for us, I think we do a good job of matching it. So if we do a good job of matching it this week and having some variables that you can play to those sets, if you don't always play them the same way, I think that gives you a chance to be successful.
Omarion's a guy we haven't really asked you about this fall, but obviously gets his first start. What did you see him do kind of the last couple of weeks during that?
Yeah, he prepares every single day as a guy that's going to go out there and be on the field. And when his opportunity comes, he does a great job of that. You know, he plays with physicality. He's tough. He's learnable. He's easily coached, and he's hungry. So when his opportunity came, he did a good job. And I think he'll continue to get more opportunities because he does what he's coached to do.
Joey McGuire was really self-critical today, talking about their defense, saying he thought that their pass rush lanes against Wyoming were absolutely horrible, in his words. When you know that that's something that he emphasizing to their guys, what do you want to get across to your O-line, but beyond what they see on tape, when they're calling it out publicly as they have and they're comfortable doing that, what do you want to get across to your O-line when they're going to be emphasizing that weakness this week?
Yeah, at the end of the day, we're going to continue to focus on us, right? And we know that they have skill. We know they have talent at those positions, up front in particular. So we're going to continue to focus on what do we need to do to be able to handle that well. We're not going to be at their practice. We're not going to see what they're doing. I'm sure they'll want to dial up pressure just like we will, right? So they're going to want to get better up front, so will we. And that's going to be our focus as us.
That's Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach. His weekly press conference last night. We lead off every Tuesday show with Coach Lanning, breaking down that 4 o'clock kickoff against Texas Tech coming up. Now it is Athletic Director Tuesday, and when we come back, Val Johnson's here in the Country Financial Studio. More coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
What is dedication?
My biggest fear in the middle of my addiction was that my kids wouldn't have a father. And I started thinking, you know what? This isn't my story. I definitely had to become a better man to be a better father. It's important to me that my kids are empowered and truly believe that if they can think it, they can do it.
That's dedication. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. We're happy to report that Alex Stimson and his whiteboard hand have returned to the Country Financial Studio. This is great. Good to have you back, buddy. Alex directed the board show at Autzen Stadium. That was a good game day experience. Now it's Athletic Director Tuesday. Deputy Athletic Director, Senior Women Administrator Val Johnson is here. Hi.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm great.
So it was your first game day.
First game.
At Autzen Stadium.
First football game day.
Okay. So I called this jokingly the Val Johnson Bowl.
It was.
Because you came from Portland State to come to the University of Oregon. How'd it go? Like, you good?
I'm good.
Okay,
you know, it was one of those things where it's like it's always, it's heartwarming.
Yeah.
See some good friends.
Sure.
Colleagues that you consider family. It's a little heartbreaking, sometimes when,
it's 81-7.
Yeah, 81-7 was a little rough for the old Vikes. You're real happy to see what the Ducks are doing.
Yeah.
It's great. Great promise. Love seeing that. It's a known pitfall sometimes for those FCS teams of what you got to do in the preseason.
Sure.
But still really excited for what Barney and the boys have going for them for the rest of for their season. Dante Chatchery, he's going to be doing a good job at QB. Dante's got it rolling. Barney's always got a few tricks up his sleeve. They'll be fine. They'll be all right.
I said after the game on our broadcast that I will now be a Vikings fan the rest of the year.
You really should be.
Like, that was fun. Hey, Dante Chatchery, 7 points are on the board there, right?
Yeah.
So I am now rooting for Portland State the rest of the year.
Everyone should always root for Portland State. That's what I always say. You should always root for Portland State.
Look, regional encouragement, right? It's good for the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
No, I mean this sincerely. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun team to root for.
Yeah, no, they always are. And then, whenever Canzano has Barney on, just listen because that's why I was chewing on Tums every time that Barney was on the radio because you just never know what he's going to say. It's always something interesting. The most interesting man in FCS football.
Yeah.
But, yeah, definitely, cheer on the Vikes. We obviously have great, fun, exciting things always happening here in Eugene with the Ducks. But, it's always nice to see what they have going on there on the park block. So definitely give the Vikes a little bit of love. But we always want to, make sure that our Ducks are our number one priority, but nothing wrong with sharing a little love with the Vikes.
That's right. All right, so first game day for you. Take us through it. Like, what's the highlight recap of the first game day as a senior administrator? Like, what'd you do at Autzen all day?
Well, let's just be honest. As an administrator, my main thing was we had some women's basketball recruits in.
Yeah, big deal.
The main target was trying to get to see them. But kudos to all the Duck fans because you come out in full force. Thank God I had a parking pass. I'm just gonna put that out there. And I understand why some of y'all park far away and walk. That makes 100% sense. Smart idea on the scooters and the skateboards and the bikes. That makes a whole lot of sense. I get it.
Christmas present.
Yep. You all are very, very smart. I will give you that. Also, huge shout out to all the folks directing traffic, Eugene PD, Campus PD. Y'all are doing a great job.
True.
Whoever set up all the cones, perfection.
You did not hit a cone?
Nope, sure
Good.
didn't.
Well done.
Didn't hit a cone. But yeah, it was just a work of traffic art. A little slow at times, but that's all right.
It's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people moving in and out. But no, it was great. Got to, definitely meet. It's fun to see the recruits come in and be able to see what's going on here for the first time, meeting parents and, our prospective student athletes. And so that's a lot of fun. Shout out to the baseball recruit who I can't remember where he's from, but his mom's a Chico State alum. That's where I went.
Hey.
Got to meet them.
Connections.
It's always great. It's just always fun to be able to, get to see who's here experiencing game day for the first time. One of our women's basketball recruits actually had never been to an American football game. And so that was a lot of fun to be able to see that with them and just really experience game day through their eyes. But other than that, it was just really taking it all in and just kind of figuring out where that magic pass around my neck gets me. And
Did you get turned away anywhere?
No.
Oh, well, that's good.
No, so that was really good.
I mean, you are, corner office, as they say.
and it's great because then it's like now at least I know familiar faces. So at one point I looked at Les, who works typically over at Matthew Knight Arena, and I was like, Les, here's where my tickets are. How do I get there? And he goes, just go through that gate and walk up the stairs. I was like, all right. And so I mean, it's just
So you had a great day.
It was great. Had one of those lovely sausages from up there. That was really good.
Shout out John Sargent Concessions.
John Sargent, always for the win.
Friday
Always
show.
for the win.
I don't know if you heard about this. He literally interrupted Friday's show and brought in all the new specials.
Oh, did he?
On the show. It was really something.
The shout out I want to give to John Sargent is, I don't know if y'all read, Rob Mosley's putting out kind of like a new newsletter.
Are we about to talk about the O cookies?
The
again?
O cookies.
So,
and I read this, and that was a valid fan question.
Okay, so
why can't we get the O shortbread cookies at the concession stand?
Sarge, I am so sorry about this again.
And Sarge had a great answer.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Yeah, it was your fault.
Yeah.
You put him on blast on that one.
No, I I brought it up as so we were discussing how the O cookies really make it feel like game day. And I did not know if they were only available in the press box
They're
they
special.
were, but they're also available in the suites.
In the suites.
He told me that. But we were discussing this on the show, and then literally, Rob looked at the timestamp. Literally minutes later, Rob received that question for the Flock Talk. And Sarge, thank you.
And Sarge provided a very thorough.
And the thorough answer is that the O shortbread cookies, they tend to break.
They do.
So you don't want to be selling broken O cookies. So now Sarge's team is looking into if we can make them a little bit more sturdy to sell to everybody else at concession
Maybe it
stands.
could be like one of those Food Channel bake-offs where maybe there's like a duck challenge of how to perfect the shortbread recipe.
Okay, Sarge, if you want to do that on Duck Insider, we will do it. I've always wanted to host a cooking show. It's actually my retirement dream is to just host a cooking show.
It could be something great. But it is true. I mean, they are fantastic cookies.
This really
Sarge,
took a
but
left turn.
They do break between where the frosting is in the non-frosting part.
Yeah, and maybe this is bad. I break them there and then dip the non-frosting side in, your coffee, your hot chocolate, whatever
It
you've got.
happens.
Yeah.
But
wow.
shout out to Sarge for wanting to provide the best O shortbread cookie
right.
to our Duck fans.
That's right. Man, who knew that the shortbread O cookies would come up 4 times in the last 6 shows?
It's important.
Hey, what I learned, Rob and I were talking about this last week. What we learned is that there is overlap amongst all of these things that we do. So thanks, fans. That was nice.
We do it all for you.
Yeah, that was nice. We haven't even asked you about being on the road for like a month
yes.
with the women's basketball
team. And
team.
I'm leaving again on Thursday. So.
Okay, more to come.
Yeah.
We picked like the one date that you were here with like a month-long period. So thanks for committing.
This is great.
Yeah. Okay, timeout. We're going to come back. Val Johnson's here in studio. It's Athletic Director Tuesday. We have a lot more to cover. This really went all over the place. We're back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is your captain. We are going to be experiencing some slight turbulence. Please fasten your... Oh,
Hold on, just got a video of my cat.
Imagine the pilot of an airplane was as confident as you are texting and driving. Seems kind of crazy when you put it like that.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Into the building for the first time after the shooting. It was crippling, but it had to be preserved.
In response to the Pulse nightclub shooting that affected the LGBTQ community, Barbara Poma, owner of Pulse, founded the One Pulse Foundation to honor Pulse victims and survivors.
If you're an ally of this community, speak out. There are more of us together than apart. It is the power of love in its rawest form.
Join the fight for LGBTQ acceptance. Learn how at lovehasnolabels.com. Brought to you by Love Has No Labels and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack, joined by Val Johnson. I did not know that it was going to be Cookie Insider today. I really like William's suggestion that we call it Roasting with Joey. I like that, because then, like, you could roast me like you do in this business all the time. Great suggestion. We're going to do it. So, Sarge, if you ever want to just have, like, a cookie taste-off, we're here for you, okay? And I think you've got to be there now, too, since you brought this up.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Val Johnson's here. So, we talked about game day. We did not talk about where you've been for the last month. So give us the highlight review.
A month is aggressive. It was 10 days.
A month? Did it feel like a month?
No, it went by really fast.
Did it? Okay, so tell fans what you were doing. The women's basketball team, they were on their foreign tour. It was one of the years they could do a foreign tour this year, and you went with them.
Yes, I had the great opportunity of going with our women's basketball team to London and Greece as they played 3 games, and it was one of those, oh my gosh, look at the amazing pictures. It was one of those just super, super, super special opportunities that, I mean, even for me, this was the first time I traveled to Europe.
Really?
First time ever. And so it was super special to do it with this amazing group of young women and the staff. And for anyone who has spent time with Coach Graves and the staff know just how great of people they are, and just how just low-key and chill they are, but then how they switch that to being very competitive on the court. And this team is just remarkable. And we do have a lot of new faces on the roster that I can't wait for the fans to be able to meet and see play. But these trips are so special because, as you know, as college students, many students are able to travel abroad. My daughter spent an actual month in Costa Rica, and as a study abroad program through the University of Oregon, and our student athletes don't typically get that opportunity because of their competition schedule. And so this is a great way for them to be able to go and experience another country and get that educational component while mixing it with their athletic component. And we were very fortunate. We had these amazing tour guides that were with us throughout our trip. I like to think we were their most favorite team. Because of COVID, also, a lot of teams actually did their international trips this year. So they had a ton of teams that had done similar trips, and whether it was London and Greece or, somewhere in Spain and Italy that these tour guides had been with. I'm pretty sure we were the favorites. I'm sure all of our fans would agree, but we were by far their favorites. And a lot of that is because of our staff and our student athletes. And our staff tends to set the tone for the student athletes. And they just had a great time. And they were able to really experience London and, seeing the changing of the guards and going to Buckingham Palace and, being on the River Thames and just all sorts of things, and then being able to go off and experience just the history of Athens. And I mean, that's just remarkable in itself. And there was a lot of fun. We had an unbelievable day on a very cool, our tour guide kept calling it a IKEA ship. But it almost was like a sailboat, but without the sails, but kind of looked like a pirate ship. But it was just this cool day where everyone just said it was kind of like the most relaxing day that they ever had. But the team building and just the time being together and learning everyone's personalities really helped set the tone for the season ahead.
Yeah,
and
cool.
I kept telling a lot of the student athletes, just remember this, Coach Graves. Okay, remember this one when the season comes.
The season
okay,
gets going, yeah.
so when things get a little rocky, you just remember this Coach Graves, who's just real chill right now on this boat. And then to be able to see them go and play some games was cool too. You know, the first game they hadn't touched a ball in probably four days,
right.
And for a lot of these student athletes, that's just unheard of. Sorry, I just got excited. Coach Ulmer just walked through the
Matt
door.
Ulmer's next on the show. Don't worry, he's fine.
Okay, good.
He's fine. I actually have to tell you, this is a true story, and we'll wrap up with this before we completely take another left turn with Matt Ulmer, as we often do.
We're like the dynamic duo of left turns right now.
Oh man, I love it.
That's going to be my next 3 days is with Coach Ulmer.
Yeah, I'm here for it. Yeah, so you're traveling with the volleyball team coming up next. So we had a number of fans actually reach out to me and others about if there were going to be live streams or broadcasts of the women's games on the foreign tour.
Man, I could have done that for you.
See, so
that
this is what I was going to say. I told fans, I said, look, I don't think that a lot of them are going to be live streamed. We hadn't gotten any information about that. And I said, but modern technology, maybe Val Johnson just holds her phone up and calls the game. I really think you could have done it.
I wish I could have given you these pictures. So the funny thing is when you're in these gyms, they do not look like Matthew Knight Arena. Okay,
right.
so
Sure.
And Coach Ulmer knows this. When you walk into some of these gyms, it looks like they're cool. They're very cool, but they are like
I know where this
they're
is
historic
going.
or they're, like a neighborhood gym. But it's like a row of chairs maybe, and there might be a flight of bleachers. So
I'm telling you, you could have just run up and down the baseline.
It
would have been great.
We had Chris Brown, who's the sports information director for women's basketball. He would have a chair in front of him with his laptop out.
Yep.
And
sounds right.
his lovely wife would have a piece of paper that Chris had written down like the numbers on. And then Casey Johnson, who's part of our administrative staff, would have another piece of paper with numbers written down on. And then we had Donovan, who is our equipment, director of equipment, he would have another piece of paper with the numbers written down on. I'm sitting kind of like in the middle of them, and that's how we're doing stats, where we're calling out and usually we would just go by first names because at that point it was just easier because we all know their first names, not necessarily their numbers. So we'd go Grace to Chance for three good. Steele, Grace, and so then that way all of us could hear and each person is taking stats that way. The last 2 games in Greece, they actually had a table crew.
Yeah.
And so we could do it, but we still wanted to have our own stats to compare it to, but that's how we were doing stats. So I could have live streamed just what I was saying as all of us could have heard it.
See?
It probably would make no sense to anyone else, but it would have been pure entertainment. And you would have got the color commentary.
What industry are we in? Entertainment.
You would have got the color, which I think could have been a fundraiser as well, because if we would have done maybe a $5 donation to Women in Flight or something like that, the color commentary in itself would have been worth it.
When are you all going on a foreign tour again?
Next year.
Next year? Okay. All these ideas. It's going to now translate for volleyball.
That would be a hot mess.
This is going to be great.
I'd be here for it.
It's going to be great. Speaking of hot messes, Matt Ulmer's coming up
Coach
next.
Ulmer.
Val, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Val Johnson, Deputy Athletic Director, survived her first game day at Autzen Stadium.
Didn't get lost.
Made it back home, got back on a regular sleeping schedule, and now is going on the road with Oregon Volleyball. Thanks for being here.
Go Ducks.
Go Ducks. I got to 4 of my 7 bullet points that I had for you, and that's further than I got last time.
And you got some extras in there. We talked cookies.
Yeah. Hey, you want to be part of the cookie tasting? Great. Matt Ulmer's going to be on that show, too. When we come back, Matt Ulmer, the undefeated Oregon volleyball team.
Woo woo!
Back after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Don't miss out on summer at Toyota's National Sales Event. It's the perfect time to squeeze out the last of summer with an exciting new Tacoma, Highlander, Camry, and more.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary. Event ends September 5th.
Your daily dose of Oregon athletics. This is Duck Insider from Learfield.
I'm Chris Jakovic. I served in the United States Air Force and I deployed 3 times. So in 2017, I was serving as an Air Force First Sergeant. Our motto in that role is my job is people, everyone is my business. But unfortunately in that year, I would lose my own brother, Lance Corporal Adam Jakovic, to suicide. The majority of veteran suicides are from guns. I store my weapons securely, not only for myself, but for my family. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide. My service never stops.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Babes, what are you doing?
What? I'm just mowing the lawn.
No, it's blazing hot and dry out here. Don't you remember? Smokey Bear says.
Avoid using power equipment when it's windy or dry.
Where'd you learn this?
Oh, it's on
SmokeyBear.com with many other wildfire prevention tips.
Right. Thanks, honey bear.
Because remember, only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
I think that Val broke the headset.
No, we're good. We're good. We're good.
Are you sure?
Yep, I can hear it now.
Are you positive?
I think so.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union.
I would have gladly shared some of the push-ups with the Duck.
Man,
I would have been happy to be like every other we could have done.
How about the work that the Duck did this weekend? It's a record for him in push-ups.
I want to know if the Duck is going to come back from that.
It was
that was light work?
I don't know.
What was the number? 2 what?
2 something, right? Oh, 5. 586.
I'm sorry, what?
586.
I haven't done that many push-ups in my life.
I have not done that math in a while. 586, wow. So, hey, welcome back. Undefeated Oregon volleyball team. Matt Ulmer, the Oregon volleyball head coach. All right, serious question here.
Go Ducks.
You lost a set. What happened?
Oh, yeah. I asked the team the same thing. No.
I knew you did.
No.
In all seriousness, though, like, that's how great of a start, and I'm saying this as if you cannot hear this.
Okay.
How great of a start is it that it's like, oh, my gosh, they lost a set. Still undefeated. I mean, for real, congrats on a great start. What's been the key to it so far?
A lot of different things. I think we're pretty well-rounded, and so we're scoring a lot of points on our side, and we're not giving too many away. That's a good recipe. And this was the best serving we've had in my career here this past weekend.
That continues
the last
to be
4
a key
matches.
for you.
It is, and that really holds true. So, no, we're doing a lot of good stuff. We're about to be tested, so we're going to have to be even sharper. But overall, we're a pretty good volleyball team.
You know, I was curious to talk with you just about the back-to-back trips, a lot of travel. Like, that's tough for sure. How did you go about coaching and preparing and even practicing with that tight travel turnaround window?
Yeah, not a lot of practice. I mean, we had like one 1 hour practice in the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
Or a week and a half. So today was the first day we've been able to go back and kind of revisit some things that we need to work on here and then Wednesday, Thursday. So, and we need to do that. The nice thing was we've learned a lot through live play.
Sure.
Right. So that's where we're learning right now is in our competitions, and we've done a pretty good job of that, getting better at things that we needed to. But now there's some things that were glaring over the 6 matches that we need to tackle and I thought we did a good job of practice today, getting on those, and if we do a good job, then that will help us this weekend.
Minnesota, Friday, 4:30. It's on Pac-12 Network. And then Saturday, 4:30 against Ohio State. That's number 10 Minnesota, number 15 Ohio State. That's on Pac-12 Insider. You'll be able to tune in. Also, Knight's making the trip.
Oh, Knight, let's go,
Running
buddy.
audio
Come
today.
on.
You'll be able to
Thank you.
tune in on KWVA, student radio station.
Yeah,
They're going to
let's
have
do
the
it.
call. Going to be a good time.
Okay.
Yeah, going to be a good
What's
time.
What's your snack of choice on the road? What are you doing?
Snack
yeah,
of
like
choice.
I'm a Funyun with a Dr. Pepper guy. What do you do? Trail mix. Okay.
Trail mix.
Why are you laughing? You don't like Funyuns?
Of course you're a Funyuns guy.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that just is so
Is that a Thank you.
No, I'm saying Funyuns are good.
You're making that sound like
No.
something's wrong with me.
Because fun is in the name, Matt. Of course, like Funyuns.
Okay.
Of course, Funyuns would be yours.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Dr. Pepper?
Well, that's just objectively the best soda.
Okay, yeah, that's obvious.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
it's just true.
Way to backtrack, because I think everybody here was a little taken aback,
No.
a little offended on your comment.
No, that was
because there's a lot of Funyuns lovers in the audience right now.
Me, and I'm one of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
You're a real fun guy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trail mix, huh?
Trail mix.
Okay.
Healthy choice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Funyuns.
Yeah, Funyuns.
Yeah. I learn a lot about you every time.
Yeah, you're welcome.
You go on the show. Minnesota, Ohio State, though. Some top 15 matchups again for your squad coming up. Before we talk about that, I want to go back. Something that it's bigger than volleyball. Talking about the uniform patches for the Lewis family.
Yep.
Just tell us a little bit about that. Tell fans about that. That's a cool thing.
Yeah, so Morgan's dad, Morgan Lewis, on her team number 11. Her dad, Alan, got diagnosed with cancer. I think it was towards the end of her freshman year in 2020, I think. And brain cancer, and I don't know how to pronounce it, but I know it's not good. And he's been fighting ever since then. So she's a fifth year now. So for the past 4 years, he's been fighting, and we've been here with Morgan, as he's going through it. So she's had a hard time being away from him, and he just went off treatment here last few months, and he moved back to San Diego. So I was really excited that he was able to watch her play again. And so we were going to try to go. He was in New Mexico. We were going to try to go to New Mexico. He went to San Diego. Was able to be there, and so she was able to play in front of her hometown and her friends, her family, but her dad. And we have a patch for Alan Strong, and the type of cancer is a gray. So we have the patch for him, and one for him just to keep encouraging him to keep fighting, but two, just for Morgan to remember that we're all here for her. And it's not just our team; it's all of us collectively. We're there for her, and just want to love on her. And this is a really exciting year and season for her. And it's also a really hard time in her life, and so we just want to help, be her family here. While she's going through that. So it was great that he was able to be there, and a lot of the family was there, and that was a really great moment. And Morgan played fantastic at home, and I was really happy for her. So I think she feels supported, and I know that Alan did, and he expressed that he was really grateful for that. And so, it's an ongoing thing, and we're here all season with her. So, we're excited to have her back here and his back.
Meaningful and powerful stuff, though, and it's great to see the individual performance and team wins in a situation like that. That just brings a smile to everybody's face.
Yeah, and he's just a really sweet guy, a great dad. Just loves his girl, and so we're just trying to love on her while we're all together here.
That's awesome. So you'll see the patches on the Oregon Volleyball uniforms as we continue with Oregon Volleyball head coach Matt Ulmer. Also, I think in a lot of ways bigger than volleyball. I did want to ask you about Nebraska volleyball setting that record.
Mm-hmm.
Largest ever attendance for a women's sporting event, and it was volleyball at Nebraska. That was awesome.
92,003 people.
Wow.
Really cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm just super jealous. We wanted to be there. We wish we could have played Nebraska in that environment and just been a part of it. But that just shows, one, our sport. Two, it shows, the fan support at Nebraska. But just the audience that's available for women's sports. And we know women flight and all the things we've talked about, but we're talking about our season ticket holders, and we're doing the best we can in our area. But people are really paying attention, to how amazing our female student athletes are, and they're supporting them. And Nebraska just hit it out of the park, and what a great environment. I mean, like I said, I wish I could have been there just to witness it.
But as someone who, as someone who is such a champion for your student athletes, I mean, I imagine the entire team must have been like, "This is awesome! Like, this is great."
We watched it. That. Yeah, we were watching it. And we're fans of volleyball, and we're fans of our sport, and fans of women's sports, and so everything we can do to pump it up. And so we did everything we could to push it out there and make sure people were paying attention. And I know the ratings were highest they've ever been for that. And then obviously all the eyes on it, and it was national media coverage and really cool. So I don't know where they go from there, but I just think it shows that the support is there given the opportunity.
Yeah, I wondered if now you're going to see more of those sorts of events around one individual match or game. I don't know. It would be interesting to see across the country. It's like how they do the outdoor hockey right on New Year's Day and all those sorts of things. I don't know.
92,000 people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
It's really neat.
A lot of people.
Yeah,
a lot of people.
A lot of people.
A lot of people. Number 10, Minnesota. Number 15, Ohio State on the horizon. 4:30 on Friday, 4:30 on Saturday. Pac-12 Network, Pac-12 Insider. You can tune in for Duck Volleyball. Pac-12 Big Ten Challenge. Tell us a little bit about the field ahead.
Well, it's the last year of this.
Yeah.
And it's the first year of this cycle, but it'll be the last year of the tournament.
Right.
But the idea why we created this a handful of years ago is because we wanted it to be like what the third and fourth round would be like. We want to try to simulate that of having two great matches in the same weekend and of that level of competition that would prepare us for what we would need to be able to get to the Final Four. Similar to our Nebraska-Louisville deal, so now we got Minnesota and Ohio State, and both of them are very good, very physical. The speed of play it's going to be cranked up here, and the physicality is going to be cranked up, and some of the best pin hitters in the country are there this weekend. So it should be, they should be really exciting matches. And, again, we put the schedule together to try to host, the third and fourth rounds. And so these are the matches we got to win, so we've done our part so far, and we need to continue to do that 1 point at a time. And if we do, we're going to find ourselves in really tough matches. But, at the end of the day, we can get what we want if we come out successful.
Still one away, by the way, somehow.
So close.
Yeah.
So close.
Yeah, so for all the fans in the last few weeks, since Coach Ulmer said that he would be singing the national anthem on senior night once the season ticket record was broken, for all of you that have bought season tickets in the last few weeks.
Thank you.
One, thank you. Two, I just want you to know that it seems to be trending in the right direction.
Yeah.
And you've all made a huge difference, but
we're so close.
So one away.
So close.
I don't know if there's some just like sitting and processing. We talked about it last week. Just
in
somehow.
The queue. Is there a queue?
Yeah, somehow.
Maybe.
One away.
Yeah. Like the spinning, it's thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just stay on it. If you can't get through via internet, pick up your phone. Yep. Just reach straight out to Joey. Okay.
That's right. Send the screenshot of you buying the tickets to me.
We just need some proof.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Just keep it up.
In all seriousness, it's now this month back at Matthew Knight Arena in front of what's going to be an awesome crowd. Can't wait to get back.
Looking forward to that.
Some big-time road games and road matches ahead for you. What else should fans know? Anything we missed today?
I don't think. We're No, we're playing great, and the spirits are high, and we had two great trips. San Diego was great, and Hawaii was great, and we're really excited for this weekend, and everybody's doing their part. So I think George is like fourth all-time in digs now. Yeah. I think something like that. Yeah. And I think Hannah Puka's passed 4,000 assists for her career. That's pretty neat. And Kara McGee is getting close to some record for blocking, and so there's lots of good stuff going on.
Veteran team.
Vet team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to have
vet
that
team.
Yeah.
And we had some rookies make their debuts.
Yeah.
And they did a great job too. So, a lot of good things for volleyball. So we got a tough weekend ahead. So we need your support.
Deep team taking on two top 15 teams coming up. You can watch them on the Pac-12 Network, Pac-12 Insider, and then Knight's making the trip. He'll have the hometown call on KWVA, the student radio station here at the University of Oregon.
Thanks, Knight.
Thank you, Matt.
I do feel like, maybe Val, Kelly, myself, and you. That would be interesting.
No, I'll just get off the show.
That would be really interesting. No, because you'd have to kind of keep things slightly focused, or else it would just be a train wreck,
Yeah, yeah. This has been Duck Insider. He's Matt Ulmer, the Oregon Volleyball head coach, and we're going to come back, maybe with Coach Ulmer, who knows, after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Funyuns.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by our local branch today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Wouldn't it be great if life came with a remote control? You know, you could hit pause when you needed to, or hit rewind, like that time you knocked down that wasp's nest. Uh-oh. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. With early diagnosis and a few healthy changes, you can stop prediabetes before it leads to type 2 diabetes. To learn your risk, take the 1-minute test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
When might you be buzzed? When you suddenly love everything.
You guys, I love this song. I love these nachos. I love our kickball league. Ugh! I love this guy. What's your name? You know what I'd love? A ride when it's time to head out.
If you see a buzzed warning sign, call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
I love your car. Is this real leather?
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Man, what a show. I feel like that flew by. Dan Lanning, a lot of good stuff breaking down Texas Tech. A unique offense. That was my biggest takeaway from Coach Lanning's press conference. A unique offense, gets the ball to wide receivers in some unique ways. A real test for Oregon's defense coming up. And also a real test for Oregon's offense. We saw the depth on display in week 1. Can they put up 81 points again? I don't know. That was a modern era program record. We'll see. But Texas Tech also, you know that the Red Raiders, they're looking for a bounce back. Lost a great game, honestly, at Wyoming. Really entertaining game to watch. You know they want to bounce back. And some connections on that team for sure. It's not just Tyler Shuck. Defensive coordinator is Tim DeRuyter, right? There are some Oregon connections to Texas Tech. 4 o'clock the kickoff. 2 o'clock is when the pregame show gets rolling. I already talked with Jordan James, Duck running back, today. We're also going to talk with offensive coordinator Will Stein. We've now seen his offense. I mean, he set the bar pretty high, didn't he? Again, 81 points. So Coach Stein, no pressure. No pressure. We're just talking with you on the show here coming up. I'll talk with him this week. We'll have that for you. Let's see. Thanks to Val Johnson. Thanks to Matt Ulmer. Tomorrow, Dan Lanning will meet with the media after practice. We'll lead the show with that. What else is happening? Coach's show is tomorrow night. The Duck is still on Alex's desk. I'm glad Ryan returned the Duck. That's good. See you tomorrow, everybody.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a